Okay, so now we're ready to start getting the interior lighting set up. And then we have the initial settings for the daylighting system rigged. We can go ahead and start to modify those so we can get those tuned in. We also start to set up our interior lighting. So I've gone ahead and set up some of the basic materials and applied them to some of the materials that I've generated. There's nothing special about these. If you go in here, cancel here. Each one of these is under the Arc and Design, with the exception of the water here. I'm using the architectural water. These are all mental ray materials, so you guys can go ahead and test this stuff out. With one exception, the lighting fixtures, I have the light self-illumination glow activated on this Arc and Design material. So we have the translucent film, and then you can come over here and you can set it aglow. Alright, and so now that we have that stuff set up, we can go ahead and do a quick test render. I'm going to just go ahead and hit that. And it still looks like a nuclear bomb's going off outside. Not good, and we have some other issues in here. So let's go ahead and we're going to cancel out of this. First thing we're going to do, I'm going to go ahead and set this preset to the mental ray daylighting. And it's going to load a bunch of our environmental stuff and get our global illumination stuff settings all right. So we hit now render, we can do quick check. And now it looks a lot better. We can see the sky, we can see the horizon. Things are looking a lot higher quality here. Okay, so I'll cancel that out. Next thing we need to do, because this is an interior rendering, we're going to go ahead and modify the daylight a little bit here. So I'm going to go ahead and select that daylight. And under here, we're going to go ahead and turn on a multiplier here. And since it's inside, we're going to go ahead and increase the daylighting multiplier for both the sun and the sky proportion. So I'm going to increase that, the first for the sun to 5 and for the sky to 2. So that is going to give us a little bit more intensity on the inside as well as the outside. But since this is going to be an interior set of renderings, that'll help that out. So you can see this is gives us a little bit more punch. Next thing we're going to do, I'm also going to drop the horizon a little bit, and that's going to enable this, just basically the sun to set in a little bit better way. And then I'm going to go ahead and change the time of day as well, so that we can set that up. And we'll go to 5 in the evening. And so now we'll go back into our camera and hit render. We can start to see that this is giving us what we want. Alright, and so now the interior stuff with all the materials applied is not rendering all that great. So when you're ready to, at this point, to insert some lights. And so I'm going to go ahead and cancel out of this. And I'll go ahead and minimize these guys. We'll go ahead and place our lights. So I've gone ahead and put these on a 6-foot grid, which you can't see all that well in this, but if we pop up the Rhino rendering, you can see they're in there. And so I'm going to go ahead and zoom in. And we're going to go ahead and create photometric light, and we're going to use a target light. So I'm going to draw my crosshair there. And I'll just draw that. And now we're going to go ahead and modify some properties in this. So for shadows, the first thing we're going to do, we're going to use the global settings. And then for our illumination intensity, we're going to go ahead and I'm just going to start off by setting that at 1000% intensity. And we're going to change this from point to disk, since we have can lighting. And let's see here, just to make sure some of these other settings are on. Under advanced effects, yeah, we have diffuse and specular. We'll set these guys to 1. Okay. Alright, and so now if we zoom out, should be able to see our light here. If I hold control, I can select all of that, move it to position, and this is just simple, just like the other guys. Go ahead and set this up like this. Then we'll move it up into position. And we've got some things I need to tune up here a little bit. Select our light. You'll notice that the disk is quite large, so we need to set that to 0.5 instead of 5.5. You see that got a lot smaller. And then we're going to change the shape to spotlight. So now we have a spotlight that's going to point down into the space. Okay. So now if we come in here and we press F10 to pull that up, you hit render. You can see our light over there on the edge of the boundary here. And our sky is, or sorry, our ground plane is red as well, so we're going to have to update that here shortly, but we'll deal with that in a little bit. So go ahead and cancel out of this. And I am going to just select this, right click, and hide it. There it is. Alright, so now we can use the ground plane that comes with the system. And then we're going to want to select these guys, and we're going to create an array of these lighting fixtures here. So I'm going to go ahead under Tools, Array. I'm going to go ahead and look at this in Plan. We're going to do 3, 1, 2, 3, at a 6-foot spacing in the X direction. Hit Preview. Oh. 0 spacing. Preview this. Oh, what's going on here? Oh. Helps if I have geometry selected when I go into that. There it is. Six, 0, hit preview. And it's all going to share, right now it's going to try and share all of those targets, so we don't want that. So cancel. I have both of those selected. Sorry guys. 6, 0, 3, preview. And there's the 3 guys, so hit OK. I'll select these guys. Tools, we're going to do an array of these. And you'll note that we're creating instances, not copies or references, so they should all share the parameters that we've already programmed in. We're going to do 10 of these. We're going in the Y direction on a 6-foot spacing this time. Preview. Looks good. Hit OK. And then we got some of these guys that we can get rid of. Alright, so now we're ready to do another test render. So pull this back up and hit render. We're starting to get there. This looks a little intense. We're starting to get some nice shadows in here now. We can go ahead and modify. We're going to put a light in here so this starts to feel a little bit more enclosed. Something you can do is if we go to this, I'm going to go ahead and just cancel out of this right now. If you want to just render a section of this, under the areas render, you can hit region. And then we can go ahead and just render out different regions here. So when we hit render again, it will just work on this guy. So that'll save you some time as you guys are doing test renderings. That's looking okay. Looks like we were alright with 1,000 here. Just notice that force two-sided here. Minimize. set this to so we can select all our lighting fixtures, and we can come in here and start to modify these guys. Alright, so I'm going to drop the intensity down to, let's say, 600%. Okay, render. A little bit softer lighting. I'm going to say I'm liking that. That's looking pretty good. So go ahead and hit cancel. I'm going to set this to full area, full view again. And actually, I'm going to come over here and do this. And you can see how that's significantly darker. So go ahead and now we're going to insert a light that's going to actually sort out this area. So we're going to do a free light this time. And under the Modify tab here, I'm going to change this from cylinder to sphere. And we'll move it into position. This is going to light our space in here. We'll set that something to 400% intensity. Check all our settings in here. It's looking pretty good. I'm going to change the filter color just to be a little bit softer blue. Pull this up. Ready for another test render. Starting to get a little bit over there, but not really enough. Really beef that up. And there you go. Alright, so that might have been too much. Set that to 3000. Maybe that filter color isn't the best. But anyway, we're starting to get these nice sort of shadows that are cascading through. We have some lights that are coming down, illuminating the space. We're getting some soft edges. Alright, so we'll go a little bit, just a little bit bigger here. Double this up, so like 700 by roughly 400. Just do one more quick eye so we can see a little bit bigger. Alright, yeah, and that's looking pretty solid. Alright, and so I'll go ahead and finish this up, and then the next thing we're going to do, we're going to start to talk about these walls in here and adding sky portal lights. Alright,